Maggie float is probably our most versatile float in the RW range for sort of all-round fishing on the bottom. Now, this float has got a 1.7mm bristle, which I think is a nice all-round size, where it's not too thin that you can't fish it with a variety of baits, but it's not too thick that, you know, for when you want to fish for silverfish maybe, or smaller F1s, that, you know, you're not going to be able to see the bites well. It's just a nice size, that is, that 1.7mm tip. It's also got a slim body and a carbon stem, which allows you to fish on the drop if you want to as well. So a lot of the time in the summertime you might be loose feeding on a long pole, fishing through the water, and that can work really well for that. But also you can use it also to fish hard on the bottom as well. So that carbon stem just gives you that flexibility. Now, in terms of the uses for this float, where I tend to use it most of the time is for F1 fishing, when I'm fishing with sort of maggots and casters, maybe even sort of meat and hard pellets. So if I'm fishing Snake Lake venues, places like Partridge, Tunnel Barn, it's sort of the perfect float for them sort of venues when you're fishing on the bottom. But also I tend to find myself using it as well a lot when I'm going to venues that I'm unsure of. So places I haven't fished before, when I'm going on qualifiers and things like that. If I'm unsure what float to use, this is the one that I'll get out my box, because it's just such a good all-round float. It comes in a range of sizes, anywhere from 4x10 going up to 4x16. So you can use it for fishing from, say, sort of 18-inch 2 foot of water all the way up to sort of 6-7 foot in good conditions. So covers you for most of your fishing on commercials, for fishing on the bottom in the summer, the 1.7mm Maggie. Shotting patterns that I use on the 1.7mm Maggie are nice and simple. When you're fishing in the summer months and you're fishing for lots of fish, so lots of F1s on a short pole line, maybe fishing down the margins, you need to keep everything nice and simple and nice and positive. So starting with the 4x10, which is the smallest size in the range, this float is a float that I'd use for probably sort of anywhere from 18-inch up to maybe 3 foot of water in good conditions when you're loose feeding maggots. So the shotting pattern I tend to use on this float is just a bulk around 10 inches from the hook. That's a bulk of number 10s on this float. It takes 5 number 10s and 1 number 10 dropper shot. And I normally place that dropper shot just above a 3 or a 4-inch hook length. Now, what this shotting pattern allows you to do is have a little bit of fall in the bottom part of the rig, but a nice positive bulk just to get the bait down and get on with things when you're catching a lot of fish. So 6 number 10s on the 4x10 float, a bulk and 1 dropper. Now, that shotting pattern is the same for when I move on to the 4x12. So the 4x12, again, probably a similar sort of depth, maybe 18-inch to 3 foot, but maybe in slightly rougher conditions, or if I'm going to a venue which is particularly good and I know I want to be a little bit more positive. So the 4x12 is shotted again, bulk of shot around 10 inches from the hook. On this float, I've stepped the size of the shot up, so that's 5 number 9s in the bulk there, and just 1 number 9 dropper shot, again above a 3 or 4-inch hook length. So again, both of them floats are more of me sort of shallow water F1 rigs, and they're really good with just a standard bulk and 1 dropper. Now, when I move on to the bigger sizes, this is the 4x14 here, which I tend to use 3 to 5 foot of water, maybe down the middle on Snake Lakes or shallower open water venues. That seems to be better with a bulk and 2 droppers. Now, on my 4x14, I step up to number 8 cubes, and I've got that bulk around 18 inches from the hook, and I've just got a dropper in the middle, again a number 8 dropper, nice and positive for summertime fishing, and then a number 8 dropper above a 4-inch hook length, and that just gives it a little bit more of a fall in the bottom part of my rig. I tend to find that when you're fishing in slightly deeper water, you just want that little bit more fall, just for the fish watching the bait down on the bottom, and that's the beauty of these carbon stem rigs. And then again, final one, 4x16, I've got a bulk, again 18 inches from the hook of number 8, so that's 6 number 8s in that bulk, and I've just got 2 number 8 droppers again, and again a 4-inch hook length. So nice and simple shotting patterns, nice and positive for a no-nonsense float like the RW 1.7 Maggie.